everyone. So this is my reflection on Unit 1. So there was a lot I agreed with and had experience myself that I heard in the lecture. I definitely agree that in undergrad, the focus is on elementary general music and not necessarily secondary. Um, a lot of schools do require students to take at least one semester of general music in middle school. And we never really discussed that in college. Um, in my experience with teaching one secondary adapted music class, I did treat it more as a secondary general music class, but I noticed that most of my activities was connecting and responding to music and not the singing, playing, and creating part. I did treat it more like a music appreciation class rather than a general music class. So, one of my goals in this course is to learn how I can get my students singing, playing, and creating more at that secondary level. I also experienced not having a curriculum for that class. I was the only teacher who taught the high school adapted music class, and I was not given any materials. I actually had to push for purchasing xylophones and drums and boom whackers for that class because there was nothing there for me. So, luckily, my school district supported me in that and they did buy those instruments, but I definitely did not use them as much as I'd like. Um, we did a lot of listening. I I wish I could get the students listening less mindlessly um, and have more of a target for them when listening. One of the things that surprised me in this lecture was that when the students were providing feedback, they were not seeing a connection between in school music and outside of school music. That was one of the things I really tried to incorporate in my lessons. I brought in pop music and music that students would hear outside of school and would try to connect it to what topics we were learning about and things like that. One of the things I did that I found was very successful was towards the end of the year, I realized that my lessons were kind of just filler activities. Oh, I like this song. Sure, I'll do this song. Instead of having all the activities connect together and having one objective for that lesson. So, towards the end of the year, I created units, and I found that the students were more engaged in class with those units. So, for example, I did a world culture unit. So each class they knew they were coming in, they were going to be learning songs from different cultures. Um, most of the time we would play or sing, but there were days that it was a lot of listening to the different instruments you might hear in that music from that culture. And another unit I did that was successful was a jazz unit. So students knew they were coming in and they were going to learn about different jazz musicians, different styles of jazz, and where it all started. And I found that those lessons were the most successful for me because I did have an end objective for the entire lesson of, and it wasn't just random activities put together. So I'm so excited to learn more about secondary general music and how I can get my students singing, playing, and creating more in class.